Thank you very much. And this was a great exercise because as we were doing it, everything was coming together and things start to emerge, which I think are really exciting for our group. So I'm just going to explain what we came up with. So from our roots, what we see is that the project is very values driven. We're all values driven. And given the times that this project is situated in, we'd also like to see the project as a disruptive innovator approach to it. So we're all disruptive innovators, and that would be sort of a key edge or slant to how we see ourselves as we go about our work. In terms of the values, there's some key values, of course, in justice, in authentic listening. And I think this is part of the chain of reasoning or thought that comes through the project, in that with listening and with engaging people, that these values can also inform how we go about the governance of the project. But one of the key things I think is, as we talk about it, inclusion constantly comes up as the key focus of our project. But inclusion, we were discussing, means that we're including people into our space and we're assuming that they are disempowered. But that is not very revolutionary, because maybe they feel very empowered in their space, and it's about the blending of the margins together so that we transform as well as the people that we are engaging transform as well. So it becomes a much more transformative project, and this is consistent with our values of social transformation through the project. And part of our methods then align with that, because, for example, with our art pilots or our Q methodologies, that this active listening methodologies align with our values, but also it provides that opportunity for active discovery. So part of our approach is always being open to changing tack and questioning our assumptions and looking for being wrong. Looking that when we're listening, we're actually completely wrong, and that can open up those sort of real critical new ideas that we need in these days. And so it's very ambitious. We're an ambitious group, and that this active discovery and the spaces that will be created for this will allow us to foster this productive discomfort. So seeking it out and using that as a very productive thing for innovation. And at the end of the day, that we will have that political impact, that we will have change, not just change in people being included in policy making, but a real transformation, not just of the communities we're working in, but also in how engagement research is done and public engagement and innovation practice. So that's what we're saying.
So in terms of narrative, let's see how it develops. It's kind of ongoing project in terms of ongoing narrative and story. In terms of our roots, we thought that two kind of big branches of roots. One is overall inclusion and equality, which both kind of boils down to methodological and kind of intellectual, theoretical inclusion. So different methodological pluralism, different theories, different elements that would come forth. But also something what's really, really important for us is obviously inclusion of different groups, different communities. We want to kind of recenter this practitioners-led principles into more something what would be grassroots, essentially reflecting grassroots democracy. We also want to acknowledge intersectional inclusion of intersectional nature of inclusion and exclusion, reflect on our positionality of participants. In terms of something that's very important, because it's an externally funded project, we really want this project to be efficient and effective and kind of grounded as some sort of roots of the whole project. So we really think about transparency that actually can be also connected to equality and inclusion. We're also thinking about essentially strengthening a way of doing democracy, thinking about efficiency and value for money. In terms of our branches, so how we are kind of building up from those roots, we're thinking about sorry, I'm wondering what is this renovations?
Relations,
of course. Sorry. Yeah. So we're thinking about kind of two aspects. First will be kind of very managerial aspects, how we really create this value for money, how we really create this sort of efficiency in terms of the project. So we're thinking about more vertical organization, sharing information, sharing decision making, regular meetings of online, importance of project management, etc., etc. But also we're thinking a lot about relations, how work together in a way that actually will be both efficient, but also to be inclusive and equal. So we're thinking about collective leadership, intersectionality as kind of guiding principle, not only in terms of what we produce as research, but how we actually interact with each other. We're also thinking about recentering, something already said, the focus on from us practitioners to non-practitioners. In order how we are going to realize, we focus on pilots, which are a bit more explicitly different pilots, different methods, including games, including pilot in Budapest. We didn't put all the pilots. Essentially, those were kind of details more of the pilots. Qualitative comparative analysis, survey, Q method, case studies, scoping review, Decidim website, participant observation of all the methods that would enable us to realize our project. Okay, in terms of our leaves, we thought about different tools that would enable us to reach our leafy goals. So tools will be quite explicit tools. We're thinking very concrete, what sort of we can do, what we can put on the board, on this tree of agreements board in order to help us reach our goals and build up from our principles. So thinking about policy briefs, website, exposition, and that would demonstrate pictures taken by participants, but also in our overall goals. So kind of something what we really hope to achieve would be increased participation, embed some sort of right to participation, contribution to the to more intense democratic ecosystem, and changes overall in terms of engaging communities and changes for policy and politics and overall betterment of democracy. I think, please, can I now ask you at all?
Anything missing?
I think really good.
No?
Great.
All right.